If you're searching them, make it quick. Find anything useful on there?
This is the first deep breath I've taken in months. I make no illusions. You did this, and now it's up to us to keep it going. Ain't that a ray of sunshine? The rest of the families and I, well, we chipped in for a reward. I know it's probably a pittance compared to what someone like you makes, but we're just dirt poor farmers and miners just trying to get by. think I need to shut up now. Don't wanna get... Who the hell knows? We're coming off a victory, so that might buy us a honeymoon period. But maybe it'll last. Damn you. I'm not... Yeah, deep breath. If you ever are in this system, you come back and visit. We'll give you a warm welcome for the ages.
I must confess, I had occasion to doubt it, but we actually did it.
Well, I guess this defense pact is now a thing.
I'm alive. I'm alive, right? You are incredible.
We did it! We did it!
Hello.
Ready to lift off when you are, Captain. Well, hey there. Nice long rest, eh?
Don't rush the scan. Want to overlook anything valuable? Right, Captain. Where are we headed next?
Sounds fun, though. Did a nice bit of scratch the other day, betting on a run over the Red Mile. Guy never had a chance. Oh, sure. Take a look.
emergency, please use priority docking. The clinic welcomes all patients, whether Freestar or UC. Please respect priority docking for emergency patients. The clinic welcomes all. You are cleared to dock at the clinic, the best medical facility in the settled systems.
Stopping at the clinic to do a bit of xeno research, eh? Count me in.
Greetings, Captain.
Ma'am, I'm just a courier.
I understand that. I'm not blaming you directly.
Hey, what can I do
Dr.
for you?
Salvato, how long have you been here?
Anything I can help you with?
About a year now, Doctor.
Sure, have at it.
And in that... Here, how many times have we had this conversation about late or missing shipments of supplies?
I believe this is the third time.
Yes, that sounds right. 3 times. I will be making it very clear to your superiors that lives are at stake, and the clinic requires reliable transport. If your company cannot meet our needs, someone else will.
Yes, ma'am. Understood.
Thank you, Dr. Salvato. You may return to your duties.
Thanks for It's a grav drive. I literally can't get here any faster.
It's encouraging to know that every case we cure here likely means dozens or hundreds more can be saved in the future. Welcome to the clinic. I'm Dr. Darvish, Chief of Medicine. Is there something I can do for you? I thought perhaps the name gave it away. This is one of the preeminent medical care centers in the Settle systems. We take our work very seriously. Are you? Because I don't have any appointments scheduled. We have a particular focus on astrovirology here, so the patients we take on tend to have unusual cases that require long-term care, and sometimes require unorthodox or experimental treatments. We have an excellent track record that speaks for itself, but it doesn't leave room for much else. Whatever business you may be here for, I trust that you will conduct it quickly and do so without interfering with my staff or our operations. I am, yes. I took over from Dr. Eswaran when he retired 9 years ago. While the clinic does occasionally take on research projects that have their own chain of command, I am ultimately responsible for the entire facility. The clinic has occasionally been faced with unique situations that might be considered hazardous in other facilities, but no, nothing that could not be contained and dealt with. I'm afraid that information is confidential and restricted to our corporate partners funding the projects. Certainly. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of new worlds that humanity has set foot on. While many don't host some sort of life, there are more than enough that do. Any one of those worlds could be inhabited by all manner of pathogens, things we've never seen and have no idea how to treat. Someone has to try and stay ahead of what could be a very deadly curve. Here at the clinic, we do our best. If we do it right, no, not usually. An abundance of safety protocols are in place, and we have decades of experience. Ironically, this may be one of the safest environments in the Settle systems. Would you now? Well, I suppose we could always use additional research specimens. The more data we have about what's out there in the Settle systems, the faster we can diagnose novel illnesses. In theory, at least. I suppose we could consider you an independent contractor of sorts. Organic membranes provide excellent data for treating viruses. We could use some additional samples. What we're looking for are basic organic substances. They could come from any number of flora or fauna on countless worlds across the Settled systems. Just keep your eyes open as you travel and harvest things when you find them. Or frankly, if you can find them at a reasonable price somewhere, purchase them. I'm less concerned with the source than the materials themselves.
I hate this delivery run. Can't ever get here fast enough.
I actually met a guy who finished the Red Mile. He lost an eye in the process. But he did walk away with a pile of credits. And I mean, you got 2 eyes, right?
It feels like I've been waiting forever.
Can't wait till I can rotate out of here.
Worst I usually have to deal with is folks worried about getting diagnosed fast enough. Can't blame them. Not exactly a hotbed of criminal activity here, is it? Well, that suits me fine. Well, let's see now. I joined up in 2292, so that'd be 38 years now? Damn. Hard to believe, now that I think about it. Almost 40 years. There ain't been many Rangers who served that long, I can promise you that. Well, offhand, I can only think of two. Cassie Hickson made it to 42 years before she caught a bullet from one of them Shaw gang boys. He got himself all liquored up at Aggie's. That's over in Aquila City. Started using the passers-by for target practice. Then there was old Rusty Ortega. Had a good run of 52 years and retired to a farm on Montara Luna. Passed away just a few years back. I suppose I don't think much about it, but when I stop to count the years, well, they sure do add up. I'm just here to keep the peace. You need medical help, I'm the last person you want to talk to. Well, you'd be guessing correctly then. Even if there was some kind of trouble, which there almost never is, Freestar Security would handle that. Truth is, this post is what you might call ornamental in nature. Ever since the clinic came under Freestar collective control, there's been a ranger here. I reckon it's to serve as a reminder who's in charge of this place.
Just checking in, dear. You
I'm
doing
just a
all right?
nurse. If you need to talk to someone,
Are you the courier?
Wrong guy.
You're not really supposed to be back here. You can just drop the delivery off by the docking port and someone will take care of it. Well, sure. We can't afford to run low on supplies. Never know what kind of medical emergency might pop up at any moment. Well, then you won't have Dr. Darvish breathing down your neck at least. But, well, we're not really set up for having folks just milling about in here. It is a medical facility, after all. If you could just do your best to steer clear of the doctors while they work and not interrupt things, I'd really appreciate it. And if you need anything, I'm right here, okay? Nurse supervisor, dear. I'm the one who takes care of all the doctors, as well as the patients. The more I can look after, the more the doctors can focus on patient diagnosis and treatment. Every role here is important. Well, I wouldn't really say we work together. It just happens to be in the same place. He has his job keeping the peace. I have mine keeping this place running. Truth be told, I think it might drive one or both of us a little crazy if we actually work together. But I do appreciate being able to see him every day, even if it's just to pop over to his office and say hello or share a meal. It's nice. Oh, sometimes, sure. Somebody walks in or is dragged in with something we haven't seen before. You best believe it's all hands on deck. Have to find out if it's lethal or contagious, or both. I used to. I think we all did to some degree when we started working here. But really, how does worrying help when you've got people to treat? It just gets in the way. It can be, yes. But we've all learned to live with it. If we didn't do this, who knows how many lives would be lost. It's harder on the newer folks, that's for sure. You take that Dr. Salvato, nice man, but he's a little on the skittish side. He's a good doctor, but just needs a little more confidence, you know? Oh, aren't you a dear? No, he'll do just fine. He just needs some time. Actually, now that we're talking about this, I wanted to do something nice for him. Give him a little pick-me-up. I overheard something about a meal he hadn't had in a long time. Thought maybe if I could deliver one to him, it'd be a nice gesture. You think you could help with that? Aren't you just the sweetest? You know that Don's Roost restaurant in New Atlantis? The fancy one? Dr. Salvato was talking about the synth liver pate. Said he'd never forget it. You bring me a plate and I'll make sure we brighten up his day.
Every new alien
Wouldn't mind
pathogen
getting
we
assigned to
discover
one of
is
those
just a little
research
more job
programs.
security.
I hear the pay
Well,
is
look on the
better.
bright side, right?
Oh, we're not really supposed to talk about that kind of thing. Doctor-patient confidentiality and all that. Dr. Darvish is pretty strict about that. Well, about everything, but definitely that. Oh, sure. Everyone is really great. Top of their game, medically speaking. I've learned so much these last few years. I try not to take any of it for granted. This career, helping people, it really means something. Bye.
Need to make sure those samples get disposed of.
No authorization, no access. Hey, I don't make the assignments. I got a boss, and this is where I was told to waste my time. In the secure wing? No. But from what I understand, someone's paying to keep it that way. No one knows what's going on back there. This wing is contracted out to a private business. It's not open to the general public, not even standard clinic staff.
You had a chance to talk to Dr. Cassidy. Really fun guy. Dry humor, though. So dry. You might almost think it's non-existent.
You'd be surprised how many last few errors are out of the system. Means I got about 10 minutes till something breaks again. Well, yeah, somebody has to. It's great medical care, but not the latest in support tech. Funding only goes so far, and most of it's prioritized for keeping patients alive. And there's still a lot of outdated UC tech behind the walls that needs interfacing, so I stay plenty busy. Well, then I'd be out of a job, wouldn't I? You're not entirely wrong, though. But someone would have to convince Dr. Darvish it was a priority, and I gave up on that effort years ago. Oh, you're not familiar? I'll give you the quick version. UC built the station back in 2194. It was outside of their established territory, which caused a bit of a disagreement and a bit of a war. And after what I think most people would agree was much too long a period of time, the war ends. One of the terms was the station was handed over to the Free Star Collective. Not that many really good reasons for war, are there? I think it was more about the UC expanding into systems they didn't own. The principle of the thing, not the station itself. So since then, the clinic's been under Free Star Collective control. Over 100 years now, I think. Over time, it started to focus more on weird things people picked up on all sorts of planets and space expeditions, became known for it, and now focuses on it almost exclusively. And here we are today, carrying on that work. Actually makes me feel kind of proud when I lay it all out like that. Get out of here before you catch something. Just kidding.
You know, there are more couriers coming and going from this place than patients most of the time. Guess that's a good thing.
These poor people. Need something? I can't imagine suffering from something no one understands. It must be terribly frightening for them.
New-ish. I've only been here a year, which, well, when you compare it against Dr. Darvish's career, it's not much, is it? I'm thrilled to have the opportunity, but it's been an adjustment. Very few cases here are simple, and most of them are medical emergencies. I guess that depends on what you consider a break. We get some time to ourselves, We're not on call all the time, but we're never that far away from it either. Now that I think about it, I haven't actually left the clinic since I got the job. I actually hadn't really noticed. Sure, if you're the kind of person who deals well with it, not everyone does. I've seen a few colleagues need to leave after a few months. But I get it. If you can't deal with the circumstances, you're not going to be doing your best work. Hey, let's keep our voices down. The clinic doesn't exactly know I'm giving its supplies away. That being said, I've been expecting someone soon. I've heard Bayou really has a vice grip on Neon right now. I have some supplies I can give you. Should be more than enough for now, and it shouldn't draw any suspicion from the clinic. I'll have them loaded onto your ship. Sorry, I can't do that. This is the most I can give you without drawing suspicion. I'm glad you understand the position I'm in here. Don't get ahead of yourself. Yeah, I hope so. Maybe we can work something out. Oh, I really shouldn't do this. If the clinic finds out... All right, you win. You're very persuasive. I can throw in a few extra supplies, but I'm not going to make this a regular thing, okay? They'll be loaded onto your ship.
So, what do you think they're doing back in the secure wing? I think one of us should ask, just for fun.
Really? Again with this whole thing?
You can't blame wondering. I know you better be wondering too.
Need to make sure those files are backed up.
Dr. Darvish took a chance on me. I look like I work here, right? A couple of patients didn't seem to think so. Awkward situation. Oh, well, that's appreciated. There really isn't anything you're qualified to do in here. No offense, of course. But, I do have some data requests from other facilities in the settled systems. Everyone always wants to know what we're up to. Usual courier's been less than reliable lately, so if you could get this slate where it needs to go, that would help us, and put a few credits in your pocket. It's really a matter of safety, believe it or not. The types of things we work with here, let's just say you wouldn't want them spreading on a populated planet. In here, we're all nice and isolated, just in case. Not the most comforting thought, but it's the truth. Tending physician. I'm new here, so really what I do is watch Dr. Darvish's every move and try to imitate it. Sounds a lot less impressive when I say it out loud. See you later.
I have performed a cursory scan of your vital signs. You are currently alive.
Just 1 week without something weird. That's not too much to ask.
There's simply too much to do to allow me to just stand about conversing with you. I apologize. Unless this is about the clinical trials I scheduled for later in the year, you may wish to speak to someone else.
If you're thinking about going into medicine, just be really sure before you commit to it. Really sure.
I see you wearing that neuroamp. Don't try any of that mind control voodoo on me, pal.
Ever wonder how the Crimson Fleet seems to be everywhere?
Ugh, recycled air. Just isn't the same as the real thing.
Welcome to the Freestar Collective. Please maintain your current course while we scan your ship. All right, you're good. Welcome to Neon.